Down the fort there in Columbus. Jack, obviously we have seen this Auburn football team since the preseason when we saw Jackson Arnold, strutting through Atlanta at SEC Media Days. He had just got to campus a few, weeks before, essentially, from the transfer portal. Now, seemingly, he's out of a job. He started the game against Arkansas, but Ashton Daniels finished the game. Auburn comes away with the win. What'd you make of Auburn's performance and being able to finally get over the hump in the SEC?
Couple things. One, Auburn can't pay DJ Durkin enough money.
Yeah, it's okay? So true. So true.
Like, that's number one. Because Auburn doesn't win that game if it's not for the defense,
yep.
Okay? So, they can't pay DJ Durkin enough money. And secondly is that, Hugh Freeze did what he had to do. Mm-hmm. And I think the thing that you have to understand is that, Ashton Daniels came into the game and he wasn't, groundbreaking, okay? He didn't do anything that, made you go ooh and ah, right? What he did do is he didn't lose the game for Auburn.
Yeah.
And that's what that team needed sorely. He took them down to the field. While they couldn't get touchdowns, they got field goals. Alex McPherson, that's another name that we need to talk about too, because he had a phenomenal game.
Yeah,
he had a disastrous game against Missouri,
right?
But 6 for 6 last week. Auburn doesn't win that game without him either. So, like I said, it's a combination of things, okay? The defense played lights out. They bailed the offense out when they needed it, and they had to have Alex McPherson play a great game, and man, did he ever.
Absolutely. It was complimentary football. You mentioned the defense, the special teams, then the offense coming through with Ashton Daniels. Now, starting last week, all before this week, it was all we believe in Jackson, we believe in Jackson, we believe in Jackson. And then the Arkansas week comes. Prior to last week, coach is like, hey, giving both guys reps at practice. We see how the game played out. Now the game is played out. Coach is using the same rhetoric this week. Hey, we're obviously giving these guys reps in practice. What do you think transpires at the end of this week and going into game day against Kentucky?
Gerhard, I'll be honest, man. I'll be surprised if I see Jackson Arnold starting on Saturday night. Wow. I'll be surprised.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. I
don't think you can go backwards unless there's extenuating circumstances like injury or something like that. Mm-hmm. I don't think you can go backwards here. It's not so, like I said, it's not so much that, Daniels, was a world beater, okay? But it's the fact that he was able to do what Jackson hasn't been able to do, and that's got the offense to a win.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And, that's something that Jackson has not been able to do. So, and I said this, when I was on here pre-Arkansas, and I'll say this again, that win bought Hugh Freeze a week, okay?
That's a good way to put it.
A week because, it's great that Auburn beat Arkansas. They're back to 500. But now you have to beat Kentucky, because what's the one thing that is worse than losing to Arkansas on the road? That's losing to Kentucky at home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no question. It almost feels like deja vu with Jackson Arnold, because remember last year at Oklahoma, he starts the season, he's turnover prone. Michael Hawkins Jr. comes in, he replaces him at Auburn. By the way, it was in the Auburn game he got replaced last year. Then Michael Hawkins Jr. suffers an injury. Jackson Arnold comes back, he beats Alabama 24-3 in that game. And that's what is the impetus to give Auburn to say, hey, look, we like this guy, Jackson Arnold. And now Arnold's going back to the bench. But what I take from what you just said, you think if, number one, Ashton does start, which you think he will, I do too, you think that there's not a way for Jackson to come back unless it is an injury, correct?
Yeah, agree. Because I don't think that Auburn's going to burn the red shirt for Deuce Knight.
Yeah.
So I think the only way that Jackson Arnold sees the field again is if, and Lord forbid, don't want anybody to get hurt, but is if Ashton Daniels were to get injured. I think that's the only way that happens. Right. I don't think that you can go back to him, you can't go back to him when he produced something that Jackson hasn't produced since mid-September, and that's a win.
Absolutely. Forgive the pun here, but Rayshawn Pleasant has been unbelievably a pleasant surprise about not only stepping up to Power 4, the transfer from Tulane. He comes in and he is not only a dynamo on special teams. We've seen that. We saw that in New Orleans when he was at Tulane. but he's been a dynamo on defense as well. He's the reigning, the Jim Thorpe Award National Defensive Back of the Week, had the pick six, had another interception in his game. How huge was he in that secondary? You praised DJ Durkin earlier. How huge were they in this comeback, and how much can they lean on him moving forward?
Let's be real about it, Gerhard. If it wasn't for that secondary, if it wasn't for DJ Durkin's defense, Hugh Freeze might be on the unemployment line right now.
That's so true.
That's the honest to goodness truth. Okay, so it's really the reason why, I'm not going to say the reason, but a major reason why Auburn beat Arkansas on Saturday. And it's because they turned the tide. The first half wasn't exactly Auburn's best work. They gave up 17 first half points. But at the same time, like, they shut that Arkansas offense down. And, record aside, Arkansas had one of the best offenses in the SEC going into the game. Okay? One of the best in the SEC, one of the best in the country, and held them to 3 points in the second half. Okay? Like I said, for everything that, we say that Auburn defense is a major reason why they won. And now, is, good news for Hugh Freeze, because he can, take a step back and say, okay, let's focus on Kentucky. And I think if Auburn comes away with a win against Kentucky, I'm not going to say he's off the hot seat, but let's just say they turn it down a few degrees, okay?
Buys himself 2 weeks instead of 1.
Exactly. You get until, you go up against Vandy, that's going to be a tough game on the road, but it buys you a little more time, you know what I mean? And, that defense, like, I've said it on this show before, and I'll say it again. In my mind, that is a national championship defense.
For sure.
I really, truly believe that.
For sure.
It's just, can the offense catch up?
Yep, one of like 6 teams in the FBS to allow 25 points or fewer throughout the course of the season. So you're right, this defense is electric and elite, and it led to the comeback win. Got a chance to hear from Hugh Freeze about that.
I don't know that I could really express in words how rewarding, fulfilling, good to see, because it would, in a lot of people's cases, that would have been easy to say the here we go again syndrome. I actually asked our staff, and staff may know, who had that feeling on the pick six of here we go again, and everybody was honest, I think. But, man, at halftime, I thought the staff was remarkable. Thought Keldrick Falk and Champ and Jeremiah, not Connor Lou, but Jeremiah Cobb, and I thought all those guys were, look, we are, they haven't stopped us yet. We are going to find a way to win this football game, and defensively, the plays we gave, the explosive plays, were just us with bad eyes. And let's get it fixed and go find a way to win the game.
Jack, before we look at the rest of the season, something sticks out to me about this Kentucky game, and it's the fact that Auburn is favored by 11.5 points. First, I just want to get your reaction to that. And then second, do you think there's any possible chance that they can cover that?
Yes, and you want to know why? The Auburn defense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I could easily see this game finishing 17-6.
Yeah. Right.
I could easily see that happening.
Jack, I think I said yesterday that Kentucky's not going to score a touchdown in this game. Like,
I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't.
I just don't see it.
I would not be surprised if they didn't. And it's the level that this team has played all season long. And it doesn't matter the opponent, okay? We've seen them play against, the lower tier schools, and they've been fantastic. But we've also seen them hold Georgia's offense in check. We've also seen them we just mentioned how good Arkansas's offense was going into that game. Held them to 3 points in the second half.
Right.
Like, this defense has been battle tested, and they've answered the call every single time.
Absolutely.
So, as far as Kentucky is concerned, let's just be real. It hadn't been a great season in Lexington. The grocery store has been the shelves have been kind of bare over at Kroger Field, okay? And, it's not going to get any easier going up against this Auburn defense.
Absolutely. Let's do on the flip side of that. This Kentucky defense has also been really good as well. I mean, they held Texas in check for the most part. Last year, they handed Georgia a really close game, 13-12 there in that matchup. What do you feel that Hugh Freeze and the defense will have to do against Mark Stoops? You mentioned they don't have to score a lot of points in the football game, but what do you think they'll have to do Saturday to execute to be able to get a comfortable enough lead for the defense to hold on to?
Finish drives.
Yeah.
Yes.
They've got to finish drives. And for the love of all things good, run the ball.
I know.
Okay?
I mean,
Jeremiah Cobb has been fantastic, okay? And then, a lot of people say, well, okay, who do you go to after Jeremiah Cobb is gone? Because, Damari Alston's no longer with the program.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. There's a kid on the team named Omar Mabson. I've seen him personally. He played at Auburn High School, and he is fantastic. He's going to be, when Jeremiah goes off to the pros, he's going to be the next guy right there with Alvin Henderson that's going to be manning that backfield. Run the ball. It doesn't matter if it's Jeremiah Cobb. It doesn't matter if it's Omar Mabson, or even if you get Henderson involved. It doesn't matter. Run the ball. Can I say that again? Run the ball.
Absolutely run the ball. Even though you have one of the best wide receivers out there. Final thing with you here. It looks like Cam Coleman, it might be iffy. Hugh Freeze gave some positive thoughts about it, saying that he hopes he's good to go. Some reports yesterday saying that Cam Coleman could be in doubt there. What's the latest that you know? And do you think that even if he's questionable, just hold him out for a week? Because like you said, the game plan will be to run the football and just get through this game against Kentucky and try to give him another week to get healed up.
I think Gerhard, I've heard the same thing you have, and to be honest, I say if there was ever a week that you're gonna hold them out, this would be that week.
Mm-hmm.
You've got talent around, okay. You still got Eric Singleton. You still got all different kinds of talent on that wide receiver room that's around. Fill those gaps, and then, like I said, your primary effort should be running the ball against this Kentucky defense. Okay. So I think you can do that because you're going to need Cam later this season, okay? You're going to need Cam when you go up against Vanderbilt. You're going to need Cam when you go up against Alabama. So I say this is an opportunity where be a little bit on the precautious side, hold them out, and then, get healthy and get ready for this stretch run because this is going to be an important stretch run for Auburn. Hugh Freeze is going to be coaching for his job, okay? And you need to be able to get those wins, have your talent out there to get those wins, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because the ceiling for this team right now is 8-4 in a bowl win. I think that if they can run the table, I think that Hugh Freeze has nothing to worry about going into 2026, okay? Right. But if you lose, against Vandy or you lose against Alabama, or Lord forbid you lose against Kentucky, problems.
Big ones.
Jack, I'm just going to come out and say something. I think even if you lose some of these games, I still think he's good because to me, it just depends on how the offense looks. It feels like they're always going to have a good defense. But if the offense can finally figure it out, and even if there's these close losses, like one-score losses, but yeah, they put up 30 points, I feel like he's coming back next year. Because that tells me that he's starting to figure it out, whether it is with Ashton Daniels or if somehow Jackson Arnold comes in and maybe they save him for the Alabama game, the Gus Malzahn 2.0. Yeah, let me just get my season all in check, and then let's just go out and beat Alabama.
I mean, Patrick, as much as I kind of agree with you there, I've known Auburn to be trigger happy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And that's what gives me pause about going in that direction is that do they wait? Now, granted, I've also heard the argument, too, is we've already seen 3 top-tier programs jobs open up. We've seen LSU open up. We've seen Florida open up. We've also seen Arkansas open up. So it's going to be, does Auburn want to compete with those schools,
right.
in search of a head coach, too? That plays a role, too. But I like the point that you made simply because it's been what I've been preaching all year long. And it's what we haven't seen from this Auburn offense. And that's progress.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I guarantee you, people are not as up in arms as they are if the offense was showing progress, showing, progression and, scoring more points, okay? Being more competitive. Like, granted, Auburn's been competitive in a lot of games this year, okay?
Right.
Yeah.
But the one thing they have all in common, besides the fact that they were one-score games, is that the offense, I want to say, scored less than 20 points in all those games.
Yep.
So that's a problem, okay?
Yeah.
Which goes to tell me is that if you had a middle-of-the-road offense,
That's
we'd be talking about Auburn as potentially a player in the college football playoff race.
That's exactly right. That's what I've been saying for the last few weeks now. It's like, hey, if Auburn just had an average offense, not even a good offense. You could have an average offense, maybe right in the thick of the college football playoff talk. Jack, you are awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I know it's a busy time for you, the end of the high school football season, some softball right now going on your way, as well as college football. Thank you so much for your time today, buddy.
Hey, we cover everything down here, Gerhard. Appreciate it, fellas.